everyone, thanks for joining me. I wanted to come on here today and do a really quick process video showcasing this fabulous card I put together using one of my favorite bundles out of Stampin' Up's annual catalog. So this is the Stitched All Around bundle, and it's one of my favorite sets. Great sentiments in the stamp set, but what I'm most excited about is the dies that come along with it. In particular, this one here is my most used. They're the Stitched Label framelits dies. But this one here makes the cutest little stitched frame, and look at the detail with the little loops that comes with it, and also the smaller one that makes more of a label size. I've been using these on tons of my cards I've been putting together, so I wanted to come on here today and put together this fun, bright, pink, fabulous card. Coastal Cabana, so happy it came back as one of the colors, and I've been using it tons. So let's get started. So I have my pieces here all put together, and we're going to slide them all out, and first we're going to work on our card base. So this is a standard card base that I have here, and it's scored at 4 1/4, and I'm going to be using my Coastal Cabana ink pad, and I'm going to be inking up the tiny stamp here that says Darling. I want to stamp a bit of a background, so I'm going to ink it up. See, when I did my sample, I did it upside down, so we're going to check it first on our scratch paper. And I'm going to want to randomly stamp the word and then do some shadowing. So I'm just taking the stamp and I'm pressing it up and down. And I'm going to be doing it in the top right corner and the lower left corner. So once I'm done here, I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. And the shadowing just gives it a bit more of a layered look. I think it looks more rough and not so perfect. And also when I'm doing random stamping like this, I like to stamp some of my items coming off the edges. So let's see if I can get a close-up there. So you see the slight shadowing there. I think it gives a really neat effect. Shows a little bit more definition on the cardstock. So I'm going to close that up and put our stamp away. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear my workspace here, and I'm going to take my Coastal Cabana marker, and I'm going to take the marker end tip of my pen here, and I'm going to flick it into the lid. So I've seen lots of demos doing this, and it is one of my favorite techniques. I love misting my projects. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to put a marker aside. And next I'm going to take a piece of this rose cardstock designer series paper. And this is from the Garden Impressions paper. Love these roses. So we're going to mount this directly onto our card base. Some adhesive, and we're going to try and aim for centered. See, there we go. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I've taken a couple strips of this striped designer series paper, and this is from the Tropical Escape paper. So pretty. That paper is one of my favorite ones out of the catalog. And we're just going to snip it. I want it to just peek out on either end. So we're going to snip off a piece there. And we're going to snip off a piece here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, I want banner tips on this, so I'm going to cut down the center of my strip and then cut in as a triangle. And that's going to give me the bannered flag look. Okay, and we're going to do it with both pieces. And this side, let's see, did I get it all the way down? Not quite. Okay. This side. In. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to move away all my little scrap pieces here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Tombow multi-adhesive glue, and I'm going to adhere these in the center of my card. So with this glue here, it has a really strong bond, so a little really does go a long way. And also you don't want it oozing out on your project. So I'm actually going to put glue on both the pieces here. Okay. And then we're going to aim for the middle. It's pretty good. And when you're working with the Tombow glue, it just takes a little bit to adhere to the cardstock. So you just kind of want to hold your item down that you're adhering. So it is good because if you don't quite get it exactly where you want, you do have that little bit of wiggle room to move your piece around. Okay. So next I have a piece of crumb cake cardstock, and I've cut it with that large stitch label die. And I'm actually going to mount this onto my card here using our Stampin' Dimensionals. So we're going to use 4. Okay. Okay, and we're going to take this and mount this to our center. Next, we're just going to take our adhesive and put a little strip in the center of our card, because I've taken the rose metallic thread here, and I'm just going to make little loops with it. So I'm going to start by sticking the end of it into the adhesive here, and I'm just going to kind of twist it around. I'm going to go, I always find it easiest when I do this to try and just go with how. So I'm just going to follow the curl of it and keep tacking it into the adhesive I have placed in the center. And then I want to make sure that my tail end is tucked in. So once I have that down, I'm going to take, this is another one of the frames that I've cut, and I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back. Let's see. And I'm going to mount that to the center, and that will cover up all the glue that I have in the center there, which I use to adhere the thread. Next, I have the long label piece cut out of a piece of vellum, and I'm going to put some adhesive onto the back and mount that to the center of my card. Okay. So once that's all in place, I'm going to take out, I have some thin strips of Whisper White cardstock cut here. And I'm going to take that out with my black ink pad. And I'm going to take the sentiment from the set that says Best Wishes. Okay, so we're going to ink that up. And move this out of the way. Okay, let's see if we can do this straight. Well, a little off. See, that's why we cut extras. So let's flip that over. That's pretty good. So we'll put that aside, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did for those strips in the background. I'm going to cut little flags. Okay. And I'm going to do that to both ends. Perfect. So I'm going to mount this onto the center of the vellum label here, and I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals for this piece as well. So once we have those on there, I'm going to stick that right in the center. And once again, this will cover up any adhesive you have on there from adhering your vellum label. I'm going to put that into the center. And lastly, I have one of the tiny stitched hearts here, and I cut this out of a piece of Flirty Flamingo cardstock. And I'm going to use a bit of my Tombow glue. And I'm going to put this right in the center up here. Okay. And then to finish off the card, I'm going to take my clear Wink of Stella, and I'm going to color in this heart so that it's nice and sparkly. And then I'm also going to tap it off of my scissors so that we can get some sparkle splatter across the card. We want to make it bright and fun. Okay, so little goes a long way. And this is our final card. So I really love the color combination with the Melon Mambo and the Coastal Cabana. And I can't speak enough about these stitch label framelits dies. I really love how this card came together, and I'm excited to create a lot more with this. Thanks for stopping by and watching this video. I'm going to be posting hopefully a bunch more in the next coming weeks, and thank you for coming by. See you again soon.